Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Good folks, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. Share it live for us and smash that emoji button as well wherever you're joining us from this evening. We're dotting our I's and we're crossing our T's, and we hope that you guys had a fantastic day. You're fired up and you're ready to go. Do us the honor, good folks, by sharing the live as well and smashing that emoji button too, and so that as many persons can join our program as is possible. Really good to see so many of you on the live this evening, folks. Already jumping in there with your comments, share. And those of you who are going to be coming back to watch us as well, don't forget to do the same too, folks. And if you want to send us something to keep us going, to keep us happy and on the air, do that for us, good folks. We would not hold that against you. We would not hold that against you. Good to see each and every one of you on the live, good folks. Great to see all of you out here. Wherever you're joining us from, we hope it's a good place tonight. You're warm and you're safe. Yep, we're fired up at this end, guys, and we're ready to go. Share. We're just holding, making sure that we go through to all the valid and credible places. And I think we have. Share. Good to see Deborah Sharona Lynch is here, and Roxanne Garraway is here as well, and all the other folks. Lynn Finance, Claire Alexis Charmley Richmond is here too. How are you good folks doing out there? Lynn. I see Fred Mason is here as well. Charmy Gibbs, good to see you. Bushmaster, Mario Bella, June Daniels, McKinnon is here. I see a Content Clock is here. Who's Content Clock now? Brennan Thompson, Linden Gill, Michaela Andrew Coates, Horace Calda from Texas is in the house. Eva Mathis is here. Debbie, Tessa, Sahadio Das is here. Lynn Finance again. Folks, good to see all of you on the live. Good to see each and every one of you on the live. We're fired up and we're ready to go, and we hope that you guys are as well. Oh my Lord, I got to shift down a little bit and look a little bit at the end. Good to have each and every one of you here, folks. You know, I could have just saved myself all that and do it from the back end. But good to have you folks here. We hope that you guys are good and well from the many places you are joining us from. Pace and power. Good to see you folks. Welcome again to our broadcast. And you know, part of what we've been covering here is some of the dastardly, wicked acts of the PPP. It's what happened at Mocha. Cane View Mocha, folks. We've been covering that. There's a lot to get you, and to see those people move from those lands and this install regime going back there now to put friends, family, and favorites. My God. Folks, we should never allow that to happen as a people. We should never, ever allow that to happen. The PPP taking the eyes and pass me now. The PPP taking the eyes and pass us now, folks. And if you all know our broadcast, you all know where we're going from here. The opener. So let's start with that. Some of what we're seeing at Mocha. Khemraj on standby is here. It's just wickedness, folks. Wickedness, I tell you. Sheer wickedness. Take a look. The opener. Take a look, good folks. Good people. And take a listen.
Early last year, the government moved to demolish some homes at View Avenue, Mocha, East Bank, Demerara. The reason was that the homes are in the path of the road. The road has been constructed, and in support of what the residents argued, the homes are far from the road.
Today we see clearly the road wasn't passing here. These people were never in the path of the road.
That is Member of Parliament Nima Flubes. There is a report that the government is now allowing new constructions at the site of the demolition. A commentator said that this is glaring inconsistency.
On the 5th of January 2023, the government, along with police, came in, broke our homes, run over with stuff, trample on everything, took our livelihoods. When I saw the excavator, bulldoze, Chevron shop, I felt empty inside.
That was one of the victims of the demolition. She said that during the demolition, she went into her home and refused to leave.
But while passing on this road, there are structures going up buildings going up way closer to the road than we were living.
Are these things that I had that destroyed up to now? Nothing then. We still don't have a line paying rent. Living by family, even a stranger. When people get fed up, I don't move about 3 times every week.
Member of Parliament Coretta MacDonald said that there was more to the demolition.
It was the destruction of every piece of item that was in some of those homes. Every case of beverage that was from the wholesale dealer was destroyed by the young man who was operating the machine. And the obstruction that was going to be had if the residents here had continued to live here. But if you look the distance that we are from the road, I don't understand what kind of obstruction and preventing development that the PPP were talking about. But you know what? The PPP came here to Mocha to send a signal that they can destroy Afro-Guyanese villages.
Attention Linden, this is a call to action. On Saturday, the 17th of August, the Alliance for Change is bringing the Better Must Come public meeting to our own town. Join us on the Amelia's Ward Bus Park starting at 5 p.m. Hear from key presenters, Regional Vice Chairman Mark Goring, Members of Parliament, Stephen Sears, and Joretta Fernandez, Party Chairman David Patterson, and our dynamic leader, Nigel Hughes. This is your chance to be a part of the change. Better Must Come Linden. Better Must Come public meeting on Saturday, the 17th of August, 5 p.m. at the Amelia's Ward Car Park. Don't miss it. All are invited.
But y'all know they got a lot of wickedness in this government. A lot of wickedness with these people. Plenty. You and I witnessed that. I was there on the ground with those people in that moment of pain and sorrow, seeing their livelihoods destroyed by a wicked and installed regime. And as I was reflecting on that, preparing it for the program, I thought, you know what? Sherrod, you should have done some more. A lot more could have been done. They're making eyes and passes now. They are making their eyes and passes. And as we're there, in the press conference coming out of the PNCR quite recently, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton himself, he said it's a racist government. I'm not saying all people who support the PPP racist, but some of them right to the top, racist policies. Freddie Kissoon told us in a wonderful essay, Jack Dio and how he operates. Racist. Very, very, very much so. Take a look and take a listen to what Mr. Norton said quite recently.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton says the latest actions at Mocha expose the government as vindictive, wicked, and racist.
Having brutally destroyed the property of African Guyanese at Caneview, Mocha, the PPP has now allocated lands to PPP family, friends, and favorites that are much closer to the road and permitting them to build on those lands.
Norton said that at one location, a concrete fence has already been constructed on the land. The government has said that it would relocate those people whose homes it destroyed. Norton contends that the land should be reallocated to the people who once lived there
and to compensate them for the physical and socio-psychological damage they have done to these poor Guyanese citizens. As we iterate that the PNCRA PNU in government will have the people of Caneview give back their lands and compensate them for their sufferings under this brutal PPP regime.
He also decried the use of PPP-appointed town clerks and overseers to dominate local government organs.
This is unacceptable and needs to come to an end. The PPP is violating the Constitution of Ghana, since these officers are servants of the councils and should be allowed to operate as independent professional public servants serving their respective councils and not the PPP government. In Linden, the PPP government has appointed Lennox Gasper, one of its political lackeys, to the post of town clerk. Apart from Mr. Gasper's political party, partisanship activities, he is incompetent and unfit to be a town clerk.
He accused GASP of sabotaging the work of the council.
In the process, he's frustrating many hard-working people in Linden and working against the interests of the people of Linden. The opposition wishes to condemn the high-handed and political partisan approach of the town clerk and calls on the government to remove him from office as we express solidarity with the mayor and town council of Linden and the people of Linden.
Norton said that GASP has been unwilling to carry out orders of the council.
Region 4, the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting its annual general meeting for the period 2021 to 2022 on Sunday, the 25th of August, 2024 for members of Region Number 4. The meeting will be convened at the Critchlow Labor College, Wolford Avenue at 10 hours. Members are encouraged to pre-register at bit.ly/GPSCCU AGM 2024 for further instructions on how to take part in the meeting and to vote for a committee of management. The meeting will take place both online and in person at various locations across the country. Full participation of members is encouraged. Let us move your credit union forward. The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. People helping people.
Yeah, my fellow members of the Ghana Public Service Credit Union Ghana, make sure that you register, please and thank you. Please and ensure you register. We're going to have a good AGM, folks. A very, very good AGM. I feel it in my bones. Like how I felt in my bones, the wickedness, this installment here in Arcadia. We got a lot of ways to go, folks. We got a long way to go. So let's get on with it, folks. Look at what we're picking up from around the world. Pace and power, folks. Pace and power. Pull it back one time for y'all. Pull it back one time. Look at what we're following. Mpox. You know it as monkeypox. You're the fancy name now. You know. You take off all the other letters could be fancy. Public health emergency in Africa. Folks, hear this. That's why we say be careful. Be careful. Long before the untimely demise of Dr. Carissa Etienne of Paho, she said we got to start preparing for the next pandemic, the next big thing, the next big health crisis. Have we been doing that locally? Have we been doing that locally? There's emergency there in Africa, folks. 450 deaths recorded in the Congo. 450 deaths. Think for tech serious. And this is according to Africa's, let me make sure I get it right. Scientists from Africa's Center for Disease Control and Prevention. They're alarmed at the speed of which this, a new strand of monkeypox has been shredded. And as I said, about 13,000 confirmed cases. And they're telling us in the Congo alone, we have 450 deaths. You think Frank Anthony even see this yet? You think it even come across the radar? As yet, no way, Jose. Watch for that, good folks. Watch out for that. Closer to home. Closer to home. Look what happened next door. Our neighbors to the west, our western neighbors, Venezuela, is holding for y'all there. No, y'all sharp, you know. Our western neighbors. Look. Leader of the opposition there, Maria Corina Machado, she says that Nicolas Maduro, he has entrenched himself with the army. Entrenched himself. He probably got eating cake out the hand too. Entrenched. That's how you start entrenching, you know. It's more than professional now. And he has done this according to the leader of the opposition, Ms. Machado, there in Venezuela, because he wants to curry favors with them. He wants to curry favor with the top military leader to maintain power. That's what he wants to do. The U.S., as you know by now, since that July 28th vote there in Venezuela. They said it is clear from what they have seen, the opposition has won the election. But Maduro tried to form. He refused to go. And I am telling you, I ain't going. And that's what we told Machado. Entrench, she says. He has entrenched himself. And you know by now that top court there in Venezuela recently said that the opposition hasn't done sufficiently to show that the thing was rigged. That's according to the top court. Of course, lots of folks know that that top court there has been packed with friends, family, and favorites of Maduro. So they're taking everything that come out from that side with a pinch of salt. But that's another thing we're watching, folks, as we look and see what's happening around the region. And once you all know a program, you know, once you touch down the plain land, you know what's happening. You know when the plain land, we're going down. That boys ain't easy. Them boys ain't easy. You don't even want to come up the flight. You know, but you gotta come. You gotta walk. You wanna live on the radar. You got money like that. You gotta come back until such time you watch you guys there in the diaspora region 11. I know some of y'all say, good riddance. Jesus Lord, I'm glad I got. You're wicked. You're wicked. Once we come into 590, y'all know how it goes. Problems. We got quite a way to go this evening. So let's get right to it, folks. Signs of the times, just thoughts and prayers. The family of Dr. Balwant Singh, renowned doctor. Lots of the comments I've been seeing, lots of the tributes that are pouring in are saying that Dr. Balwant Singh was an excellent doctor. I know a lot of colleagues who said he was their personal physician and all of that. Look, folks, I don't know if we could live life any other way, no. When is your time, is your time. Now, that's my own humble conviction, our thoughts and prayers with the family. I'm certain you're never prepared for death. Even though you know you might got a colleague ailing, you got a family member, relative going down slowly. You're never quite set for that day. But all of us got our day and our number. Should we be so lucky to live a life like Dr. Balwant Singh? A life that was dedicated to others, the well-being of others. Lots of us just care about ourselves, you know, because we're selfish. You know it's the truth we're talking. Selfish. Who's sharing their lives tonight? Who gonna smash this emoji button for us? Good folks and good people. Who can do it? Who got the gumption, the testicular fortitude? Y'all just come here, y'all just relaxing. With our thoughts and prayers with the family of Dr. Balwant Singh. Fantastic fellow from all accounts. Walk good, Dr. Balwant Singh. Walk good. Walk good. Money off a neck. Teachers and taking it, sir. Yeah, I think y'all can bring some little PR offering and say, hey, billions going elsewhere into all kinds of pockets, deserving or not. The teachers want what belongs to them. Money have been met. We're hearing that the Ghana Teachers Unions they've rejected this 10 increase, 10.5, 10.9, whatever it is, 10 something. They've rejected it, pitch it back in the face, in the chest. Who vex? Who vex? Back across it. What people to do with this? By the time you get out there, inflation done eat into this. Inflation done eat into this. 1,700 folks already on the live, 19 minutes into the broadcast. Oh, if 1,700 you smash that emoji, but I don't know what I did the other day. Some magic. Posted some little sports comment on my profile. 69,000 emojis. 60. I ain't talking about shares. People who click like 69,000. It's way out there. Folks, I'm so grateful that the Ghana Teachers Union sticking to the guns. That's what you gotta do sometimes. Stick to your damn guns. You know? When you settle for less, tell you all this story, but the stables at University of Guyana, temporary becomes permanent. Let it give what they got to give now. Let it give what they got to give now. Don't vote for them next election. And you got enough that has already happened in the education sector. I should not make a single teacher in this country vote for this installed regime. To do that, you give your own self a setback. So I was so happy, as I'm certain many of you were, Kwesi Moffat, Everil, and Beatrice, Asher, Ida Rodney, and Renella, Eva Mattis, Garnett. Many of you were shocked. The nonsense they want to give our teachers. Put it in the chest. God damn it. Respect and manners to the teachers. Ring the bell one time for you. The teachers. Now you got this PPP idea here, Miss Hussein. Tick, tick, tick in the PPP. And then she want to put on some air as though, oh, she's so independent. Huh? Like she's deciding these matters in her own deliberate judgment. When she got to judge of instructions. How the place, man? How the place? How the place? Out. Pace and power. University again, my alma mater. I just talked with them. Pace and power to the whole team there, University of Guyana. I attended this event yesterday. I attended this event just yesterday at the University of Guyana. This is the launch of the Institute of Marine and Riverine Ecologies and Economies. I marry. Fancy title. Thanks to Dr. Paloma Muhammad. The entire team there at the UGBC, the University of Guyana Berbice campus. And they're telling us how they're targeting about 500 students initially. Several fields. Folks, one of the things that was impressed with me yesterday, listening to so many people talk about the relevance and timeliness of such an institute, you know, is the beauty of this country. The beauty, the sheer beauty. You know, when I was coming back just the other day from, where were we? We were in the Berbice River. It was about 7 o'clock the night. We were in a little rickety boat, a little engine beating at the back there. Folks, I saw one of the most beautiful sceneries my eyes have ever beheld. And I got a beautiful wife from Berbice. When I saw this thing, I was fascinated. And I was reminded about that yesterday. We were coming, it was young Mark Goring and Michelle, Daniel, some Linden, the boat driver and some other folks. 7 o'clock, it was dark as could be on that river top there. The water was like black glass. The sky over us, black as well. Oh, but it was a starry night. And you should see that sky and Berbice River merge there. I've never seen such beauty in my life, and I've been a lot of places in this country, in the world, and see a lot of beauty. You should see that thing. I was happy the driver wasn't, the captain wasn't going too fast. And you could just take in the expanse of the Berbice River and those jewels twinkling up there. You didn't know river from sky. I was reminded about that when University of Guyana launched this Institute of Marine and Riverine Ecologies and Economies entity yesterday. So many persons spoke glowingly of all that we can do to capitalize on our marine and our biodiversity and all of that. And I think UG is really and truly heading in the right direction. And I want to say hats off to all those people who are making it possible. Led by the vice chancellor of the University of Guyana. And even on the sidelines of this, a lot of those academics say, watch your program. a lot of the academics yesterday who I knew from my own tenure there as a student at UG says, watch your program. Excellent. Continue to work. Lots of them watching right now. Continue to work. Folks, pushing on. We got a long way to go. Accidents. accident report. Look, story here now. Experiment in Babis there. Sharon Monroe. Riding our own little electric scooter. Going about her own business. Well, it's upside down. They can knock Sharon now. Upside down. They can knock Sharon. Folks, you're even safe in the corner. You're not even safe in the corner. Upside down. That's it, you know. That's it. That's gone, Sharon gone. Experiment on the west coast of Babis. The man lost control of his motor vehicle. One Shamul Sahadio hit this young lady down, crashed into a pole. She died receiving medical attention. Thoughts and prayers with her family. That is all around us. That is all around us. Thoughts and prayers with all those people, one way or the next, suffering. You've lost a loved one. Then you got now at Mbamadai, an attempted murder. Folks, it's the wild, wild west in this country, you know. The wild west. A minor doused a colleague in alcohol and set him on fire at Mbamadai. What do you think would cause people to do something like that? What do you think? Is it devil? What do you think it is? Devil. Police said they're investigating this attempt to commit murder at Mbamadai. The suspect doused his colleague with high wine, set him ablaze. Devil is whispering something in their ears. I don't know, people. I like my freedom. You once might tell you when for sit down, get up, when for walk, what to eat, when to see the sunlight. Some of you gotta control yourself and stop allowing Satan to take you over like that. All this went down, they said, on August 12th, in Bamidai Linden, Upper Mazaruni River. And this dastardly act was committed on James Thomas, known as Wormy, 45-year-old minor. He was attacked by a 53-year-old minor of that same vicinity in Bamidai Linden. It's once of the madness in this country taking over people since this installed regime gone in. But look, story here. I'm hastening to a point. I have a guest this evening, just in case you didn't know. I got a guest. So I'm hastening. Mysterious death is all around us, folks. This time in the Northwest District. In the Northwest District, this is now one Simon Griffith, 24-year-old. And he's of Kyrie Island, Northwest District. Died mysteriously on August 2nd. His father, Terrence Sandy, said he last saw him alive on August 1. And the post-mortem examinations revealed that Simon Griffith died of asphyxiation and strangulation and blunt trauma. Jesus. Family doing people all kind of things these days. Isn't that a friendly lawyer boy they're living with? He went by family Simon Griffith. Asphyxiation, strangulation. He was discovered dead at his cousin Azumi Abdul's house, where he claimed he died at 6 a.m. This is Abdul claiming this. Right? Simon's sister Sabrina Thomas found him unconscious in a dark room. Right? Azumi and her sister argued with questioning how Simon died. Of course, you can get some rigmarole story. The family is now seeking justice. You go by your family for spending a little time. You know, you ain't coming back, you know. We didn't know Simon Griffith. The thoughts and prayers with that family seeking justice tonight. Where the all money going? Anybody know? Saw today Robert Prasad saying, rapid transformational changes are on the way, given the oil and gas sector, and saying that they're looking for more than 100,000 workers to give part-time jobs to, 40,000 a month. And if you miss an hour, they go with half. Part-time work. That's where it is. You got to go chop bush and so on. Wipe wall. That's the jobs they're creating. so they make the employment numbers look nice for economic reporting. If this is a rapid change happening, like we're seeing it, some of we missing it. Some of we missing it. Is it my glasses? Where are my glasses? Like it missing some of us, folks. Like it missing some of us. I want Jagdio coming around with funny. Every 1 case he really lose him at 10. We're learning that Justice Navindra Kisoon sided with Jagdio today in a slander and libel case involving Roxanne Myers. Jagdio had said Roxanne Myers had luck, trying to sing in some room and held her hostage, apparently. Even though Claudette said, I think, said at one of those hearings they had, the COI, that she never felt threatened in any way, and that she had gone in there to kind of refresh herself and re-energize herself while there was some commotion happening outside. Jagdio apparently had implicated Roxanne Myers in holding Singh hostage. And I don't have the time tonight to really and truly unpack this, and I promise you, we're going to circle back to it. We're going to circle back to it. We're going to circle back to that. Because some of what I read in this judgment early on today, kind of like, I didn't even know law books, I know it all. But some things there were a little jarring to me. So we're going to circle back to that. We're going to circle back to that. All right? So hold straight. I have a guest tonight, folks. Believe it or not, I got a guest that I want to welcome, the one and only Khemraj Ramjattan. We're talking about the sugar industry, folks. GUYSUCO. The billions that go in there. This rapid transformation, apparently, that Robert Prasad talking about. We're seeing rapid transformation that's taking hold of the sugar industry, for instance. Are we missing something? Is there my guest there? Folks, we are very privileged to have this evening with us the one and only. I'm very accustomed to introducing him one way, but former leader of the Alliance for Change, co-founder of that great political party. Khemraj, welcome this evening. We're talking sugar.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad to be back talking on a topic that is so important and significant for the economy and also for the country, as it were. I'm glad to be here.
Happy to have you. It's been a little while. Don't be such a stranger around these parts. I know, the years are coming on, but don't be afraid to come in the ring.
No. I am glad to be in the ring. As a matter of fact, I have gotten to love that program, not because only of its fighting character and features about it, but also because it is tremendously education-driven, politically education-driven. And that is an important aspect of educationals for political parties and, of course, for young leaders like yourself to exhibit at least that quality of education on the various issues of the day. Very important.
Thank you for your very, very kind thoughts in that regard. We had a sitting of the National Assembly quite recently, a number of appropriations for a number of different sectors. The sugar sector was one of them, and by extension, the GUYSUCO, the state sugar company, getting a couple billions more. There's a lot of billions being poured into this sector, but we're not seeing the returns for it. Let's start there broadly. They're coming saying they can open back all these sugar estates, they can open back Diamond, they can open back here, there, and everywhere. Not so much. A very struggling industry, despite all the rhetoric from the Minister of Agriculture, your good friend Zulfikar Mustafa.
Well, it's not been a long time now that we have been indicating to them that the falsehoods that they have been peddling, the narratives, especially from Narayan Singh, now they have left him in Brussels. We had indicated that these untruths that they're talking about the sugar industry and how well it will perform in the context of inputs getting into the sugar industry were all untruths, were all falsities. And it is now being vindicated what we have been saying, the Alliance for Change, all along. We know that right sizing was the correct way to go. But they want to go and open back Rosella Estate. They want to go and open back Skeldon. They want to go and open back, I don't know how many other estates. But what we have seen is that from 2021, I think it was $6 billion that was poured into it. And then additional financials, papers, they poured some more. Approximately 6 billion, I think it was 6 billion that was given as a subvention to GUYSUCO this year. And in addition to that, now we have got two financial papers in which a sum of 4 billion and then a sum of 2.2 billion and then an additional sum of 3.2 billion as what you call supplementary. Now, I want to explain this to people.
Talk to us.
When we passed the budget in 2024, GUYSUCO said that they will need about $6 billion this year to help them out, to increase sugar and so on. And what they did in 2024 January was that they lowered their target this year to 100,000 tons of sugar. And they indicated to Parliament that we want a $6 billion subvention for purposes of helping to create that 100,000 tons of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up in the very first year, which they had projected about 28,000 tons. They only made approximately 8,000 tons of sugar from all the estates, all the factories. Albion couldn't work because they had big electrical fire and all that. Yes. So from the 6 billion you give them, they have just produced 8,000 tons of sugar. It is less than 7-point-something thousand tons. Then they came now for the year 2024 to add to that by virtue of two supplementaries. They wanted one under a capital budget where they're asking for $3.2 billion and another one for current budget of $2.247 billion. That alone come up 5.5 billion, almost like 6 billion that they asked for at the beginning of the year. And they only produce 7.9 thousand tons of sugar. But more than that, whilst they come and ask for this supplementary expenditure for GUYSUCO, during the months of April to July, them banners this take out $4.02 billion for GUYSUCO. They didn't come to Parliament for it. They come afterwards after they take it out. So you get a $3 billion, one supplementary for current, a $2.5 billion as a supplementary for capital, a $4 billion for what you call contingency. They bill away the money out of the treasury onto themselves at GUYSUCO without asking permission. They could do it, but they got to go report to us. So when they come for this supplementary, they reported to us that they had taken out $4 billion. So for this year alone, January, that the budget time, $6 billion. Then $4 billion in contingency. Then 3.5 and then 3.2 and then a 2.3 as further current. So this is, 10 and 5, almost $16 billion. It is a lot of money. But what I have calculated over the years, it is coming up to about $40 billion since they got into government. And not one of these years has GUYSUCO made a profit. None. Wow. As a matter of fact, last year, I think it made a loss of some $7.8 billion. 2021, $7.8 billion. And then I think in 2022, $10.2 billion. And then last year again, a big set of losses. And this year, they come for almost $16 billion. And this is what we have now.
Wow, that's a lot of losses there, Khemraj, and the inputs there even greater. But again, little to show. Let's talk a little bit about the leadership of GUYSUCO. Donald Ramjattan, former president, had criticized very heavily the leadership of GUYSUCO. The current administration seemed not to have wanted to go in that direction, made several changes while saying, the industry is doing well. They have promoted the last CEO, him personally, and there's a new CEO who they're hoping can turn things around at GUYSUCO, but very strangely, who wasn't even taking questions, or more than that, guiding the minister to some of the answers that we wanted during the last parliamentary sitting concerning these appropriations. That was a little strange. What do you think of the leadership of
because
GUYSUCO?
I think they did not want to put him under the microscope that early. Mr. Chung, not a friend of mine, says, well, of course, was very close and a member of the PYU for years gone by. But they put forward these faces simply to use them because they know that sugar does not have a future when you don't want to right-size it. And that is why they want to chastise the Alliance for Change, especially, and that coalition government for doing the right thing. Sugar will not have a future under this present economic system because the economics of it is that the world market prices are half of what GUYSUCO's production costs are. It costs about 40 cents US to make a pound of sugar in Guyana, and 20 cents US is what you sell. How could you, at that kind of economics, ever continuously want to produce sugar at that level that you used to? You have to right size and downsize to the extent whereby you can make a break even after a couple of years and then proceed probably to go on progressively better. But that is not what the PPP want. And I have been saying this all along. Their base support is inside of the sugar sector. Their base support, 8,000 sugar workers approximately. And of course, that means a family. The families are very large and so on, and that is a support base. So they don't mind every year give GUYSUCO $15 billion just to support it as a kind of a subvention, because basically that is what you're doing. When you go and you ask for more subventions and come and ask for approval for a contingency of about $4 billion, then additionally $5.5 billion as a supplementary that you will spend from August month to December month. And then that $4 billion that was spent from April to July. And then the $6 billion that was spent from January to April. These people are spending the monies totally irrationally. And I am saying that they are using the taxpayers' money here to fund salaries and also the wages of workers and the management class there. Remember, we asked that question. I personally asked the question, well, give us a breakdown of this $4 billion and also the rest of the money. He started talking, oh, we're mechanizing, we're doing this, we're doing that. I said, well, is it going for salaries? And then he had to say, at the lump sum of about $3 billion, I think 70% of that was going towards, or from the $4 billion, 70% of that was going for wages and salaries. So just to pay workers, these people are coming to take taxpayers' money out and to give it to GUYSUCO. And that is, real bad economics. And you've been warning them that you don't do that. But they are there, they're taking a lot of monies out of taxpayers' monies because GUYSUCO was always a company that is supposed to bring in income. It is now taking income and so on. I don't know how long it will go on with, but that is not how you run any company, or any company must run, because otherwise it is literally, because it's your voter base, you're going to pay the votes for the votes. That is what you call buying the votes, because your industry is not running well. So what you do is you buy the votes. You continuously now going to pour money in something that is a black hole, as we have called it.
Practically.
A black hole. And so you want the voters there, and that is what you're going to do. You're not going to have any plan, because when you ask Zulfi, what is the plan to come out of this state of affairs? Oh, well, we're going to do some more irrigation works. We are going to try to stop El Nino, was one of the foolish answers he gave, and things like that. What craziness you're talking about? And, you know, I want our sugar workers that are listening to also understand that this is nonsensical economics. I noticed some people writing in the newspaper that it is good to subsidize the sugar industry because they got a whole big set of irrigation canals that you got to subsidize, and this and so on and that and more. No, take the lands and do something else, like we had started at Wales.
Yeah.
Alternative livelihoods.
Yeah.
Cane has no future in this mudland.
Retraining, retooling, repurposing the land. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So it's a lot, Khemraj. And for those of you who are now joining us, we started talking about how sugar is losing its currency, at least sugar produced by us on the world market, because sugar can be produced in such cheaper quantities elsewhere in different forms of sugar. People are going healthier and all of that. But one of the reasons why Khemraj proffered they keep funding the industry is the base. But Khemraj, you've been right on this issue so many times, like you've been right on oil and gas as being one of the seminal things we did in the last administration, right-sizing this particular industry here. And you've often talked about young people in one cut cane. That's part of the problem that they're faced with here. You talked about the base support for the PP, but it's a dwindling base based on the fact that young people don't want to cut cane. And when you think about the mechanization aspect, you have Skeldon as a bastion there that they were pushing for mechanization. That didn't seem to have gone too far. And outside of, for instance, the Wales Gas and Show project, Skeldon was at that time the largest single investment we had made. Khemraj, where is that now? So we're in a nowhere.
It is absolutely nowhere. And I think even they're coming around that they can't rehabilitate Skeldon Estate. 2 weeks ago, the president was there at Crabwood Creek, and the people were asking him, Comrade President, what going to happen to Skeldon Estate and all of that? And he had to concede, as the reporters reported, that there is a labor shortage in GUYSUCO. So even if they rehabilitate the estate there at Skeldon, where are you going to get the labor people, the labor supply from, the labor force to go and cut the cane? Around that area, it's very difficult to mechanize because of the softness of the ground and so on. And even sometimes with all these El Nino and La Nina configurations, you don't know if the ground will be so sappy that your mechanized machines and all of that, whatever will cut the cane, harvesters and whatever, they might not be able to work. You still need labor, cane cutters. And that is what I had indicated too, that the PPP wants a cutlass and punt trajectory in the labor force. They don't want, to understand that these lands should be shifted and diversified away from cane. They want cane. Well, if you want cane, the best way will be sugar workers, and you're not getting the sugar workers as the president told them at Crabwood Creek. Secondly, you do not want to cultivate a cutlass and punt mentality in the minds of your people, which set up my family members of a quarantine. They don't want nothing to do with that anymore, and almost everybody. But it's only the PPP want them. And that thing result in what I had called intergenerational transmission of poverty, inculcated into the minds of the cane cutter. I be go cut cane body. I be wife got get up 2 o'clock in the morning to put fire there and to go cut cane. 5 o'clock I be must cut out of it 2 ton or whatever they got cut. It is madness beyond comprehension for these people. And still, This government, that is what it wants them to do. Why? Because they say, we gotta make them work. If they don't work, this. But hard decisions have to be taken in relation to sugar. Hard decisions must be taken just like we did. And I was very instrumental in that. But they cuss me down every parliamentary session that you don't want sugar workers, you hate sugar workers. I love sugar workers. I want them to come out of that nasty exercise they have to indulge in 2 o'clock in the morning and right down to 10 o'clock at the daytime and so on. And it's such it's such hard work. It's like slave days.
Yeah.
And that is what they want of their support base. And that is what, is not going to carry us anywhere. This generation, they with smart computers and in their hands, they're going to want cutlass. And the people in the GUYSUCO nor the government, Zulfikar and them don't understand that. But their children, and I'm certain their grandchildren and all that, they would they wouldn't want them to go and use cutlass and punt. No. But they want the cane cutters in Albion and Port Morant and so on to do that. What we have to do is to make the hard decisions, come out of it. And we have been talking about the 4 Ps, plantain and pawpaw and pineapples and prawns as the diversification that we had in mind once the oil money come in. You got to train the people into these other food items. We had indicated that the 4 Ps is a far superior thing. And these lands could be in smaller brackets, smaller acreages. And you give the farmers that after training the farmers as to how to do, especially peppers and so on. That has a humongous export value and so on. Pepper and things like that. And also pineapples and prawns, inland prawn cultivation. And when you use the next generation to indulge in these kinds of agricultural activities, that is what is going to take us off. And it is a good thing because there will be a variety of products in agriculture that we will be providing. So there will be food security. There is no food security when we are going to produce cane at 40 cents a pound US, 40 cents US a pound, and sell for 17 or 20 cents. That's not food security. And then sugar. Look what the kind of sugar. My wife brought home some sugar the other day. It dark. And saying that there might be even a shortage of sugar.
Yeah.
And that fella in parliament goes on to say, no, I'm going to get on shortage. Well, all right. Well, get some good quality sugar for the Guyanese people. We are giving GUYSUCO so much money for what? The nasty looking black sugar. But that is what the PPP is there for. And then people go just surha with them. Oh, they're the greatest after sliced bread. Well, that is what you're going to get. And I am urging, especially the cane cutters and so on, to understand that this was a long-term plan that we had. But of course, it was a difficult times. You didn't have the oil monies. Now they get all the oil monies. And instead of using the oil monies to train a new class of agricultural workers to venture forth into that which is going to be progressive, no, they gone retrogressive. Go back to cane. Pour the money into the cane land at GUYSUCO. Get the GUYSUCO management to work big money and so on. And you cane cutters, you cut and load. Cut and load.
Yeah, and Khemraj, is almost a reluctance for the government to fund other laborers in this economy here. When you look at it, as soon as the workers from GUYSUCO strike, they're met with almost immediately their grievances allayed. It's been 75 days of the teacher strike, for instance, and still we kind of lumbering through this issue of a significant raise for our teachers, for our nurses, for our policemen out there, and lots of them, you talk with them, they engage you and they say, we need better salaries. And they see it. They see all of the money that we take out of the Natural Resource Fund, and they want to know where it's going. Where is the money going? Why is this reluctance?
It's discrimination. It is discrimination. The majority of teachers, soldiers, and so on, and nurses and all of them are largely black Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese. And largely that public servant element of the population as the PPP well know, I have been in the PPP, we well know, they are not largely support bases of the PPP. So you want to lock your base off and discriminate against the base that does not support you. And to that extent, then is why they will spend in 4 years about $40 billion on the sugar industry to pay largely salaries and wages and all of that. And if you, the teachers, ask them for a 25 or a $30 billion increase to what they're getting right now, to make up a 25% increase, they say no, you must only get 8, 9, and 10% for the next 3 years. But whenever the sugar workers ask, the sugar workers must get. Now, I am not against the sugar workers getting.
Correct.
On that score, I am also, please be level in your playing with all workers of Guyana. And that is also increase by a similar amount, that which is going to make them survive. They can't survive on 6.5. And so you need 25 probably to survive. Give them that and indicate to them, their contractor friends, that we got to minus some monies for your contracts, buddy. Not $666 billion for contracts, roads and all of that are falling apart and substandard, and you get Edgil running all over the place to tell them that they're going to knock them off and so on. You got to tell them, instead of 666 billion, we are going to give you all 500 billion, and $166 billion will go to the public servants in addition to what they now got. And everybody can be happy. That will be more or less the one Guyana that their finale wants. But you just go and you take the money, and now you go and you give, and look how much also is given to rice farmers under the GRDB subsidy and this and that and whatever. And it is not that AFC it is not that AFC or Ramjattan hates rice farmers, but these people must have a sense of balance too. That's why you're not giving the teachers, because plenty of the rice farmers and the cane cutters want the teaching class of this country to teach their children to become better workers tomorrow. And so if they don't do that to the teaching class, security, they want better security, you got to get it. How do you do it? Get better policemen, better paid policemen, and all of that, rather than the system that I see there. Once that are hundreds of millions of dollars being found in some of them, commissioner and assistant commissioner and all kind of commissioner office and so on. Well, what kind of
Very
stupidity happen, you
interesting.
know?
And I want to ask you about some of that too, but let me ask you some rapid fire things before we wrap up, including that. This issue of GUYSUCO of the sugar industry, Khemraj, I know you mentioned it somewhere along in the weeds there in your answers, in your responses. Is it going any place? You know, is this industry going to ever take off back the way it used to in the past and, you know, hold this economy together like it used to? Or are we just kind of blowing hot here and we marking time for its eventual decline and death?
Look, that is clearly what I have already forecasted. It is going to take us nowhere, not only because of the labor shortage, not only because of the cost of production, but the difficulty of our territory in this kind of scene here for mechanization to work. We had a study done. Yes, indeed. If it is hard and you get sunny weather as they used to be 40, 50 years ago, along with the rainy time, May, June rains, and then the other rainy season and so on, you could know how to signal your effort to ensure that you get the sucrose content with the sun and so on. But now everything is in disarray, as it were, the weather patterns. So when you know very well that you cannot get all of these considerations and, that could cause you to come, the thing is not going to make profit. And then every day, engineers from the estate, the factory, they're going away, because I know about 7 or 8 of them from quarantine done gone America. And these are people that know the industry. Look what they got to do now. They got to bring how much? I think 21 or 31 Cuban engineers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
The
got to
Cuban
bring.
industry has its own problems.
And the Cuban industry got its own problem. And then you're going to get a problem with language. Then they got to communicate back with the managers. They got to communicate to the employees. Them can't go to my do all kind of madness with them when they did not understanding and all of that. This cane cutter mentality in them feel with a hot sun rises your anger level big time. So they must understand when they come to Guyana, not to expect the best of treatment. But whatever it is, I am glad that the engineers have come because so many have gone. But why have you allowed the quality engineers that got experience of our territory to go to New York and Canada and all over the place? So it ain't got a future. They're fooling themselves. And we must think long term. You don't, because of the votes for 2025, you feel that you must make the right decision. We knew it was an unpopular decision to right size. And we knew that we were going to, after having so much support in the sugar estate areas, that some of them go vexed with we. But when you know as a policy maker that that is the right policy, you have to carry through with it and don't play politics with it. And that is what the PPP is doing. And that is going to hamper because it is going to take money out of the treasury now that could have gone for better purposes to fill in a black hole just for the purposes of buying the votes of 8,000 sugar workers and their families.
Yeah, the writing is on the wall in that regard, Khemraj, and lots of other ways too. You talked about the contractor class, a lot of delayed projects, a lot of shoddy infrastructural works being done, whether it's the that wharf there in Port Kaituma, name any road in this country that they're trying to fix, and it's trouble. What's happening there?
Well, these contractors, a lot of them, as I think David Patterson had said, our new chairperson for the Alliance for Change, when you start giving out contracts the way that the PPP is giving out contracts, and we now know that one of the reasons why they give out contracts that way is because they want a 20% for come back to Freedom House. That's right. 20% of the contract. You ask them, boys, especially when they take some drinks with you. By 20%, make up a payback for them fellas that buy. They want them for 2025 elections. So
watch it.
When you get $100 million contract and you say, well, you're going to spend, because a contractor generally makes about 20% profit for all his mobilization, work, then. And then you got to pay, in addition to your profit there, another 20% for the people who award you, the bribery and the corruption of it all. Then there's only 60% you got for provide for the asphalt and the stone and the sand and whatever else, the concrete culverts and so on, and the sideways and so on. And you're going to make half-scale buildings and roads and bridges. And then when you give them 3 years, you broke, you got to make it back. And that is what is the reason for this. All over the place it is showing out. And why? They also have supervisors at the ministerial level who, when they go, like they're not seeing the wrong thing done. Why? Again, it could very well be corruption is involved.
Yeah.
Shut your eye.
Yeah.
Take your eyebrows, your gaze away from what you're supposed to do. What somewhere else? You know? Yeah. Where Doc Curry and plenty liquor gonna be, and so on.
And Jagdio did admit the other day, lots of families getting contracts, mother, sister, son, and father, and so on. Lots of family members getting families.
Jagdio was a smart man. Jagdio was a smart man. He know everything. He probably ordered them family members, children, father, grandchildren, so on, forget the contract. He knows all of that. Don't feel it, but he comes over, like Donald Trump, as if he is the one that is for this country. No, he's for himself. He's for himself completely. And it is not as if they are running this country from 2020. They've been there since he at least been there from 1999 as president right down up to now. So he knows all of these families. He knows all the friends. And look what happened to families and friends, and then he make some PS at Home Affairs Ministry and all of that, and the Americans had to tell him. Well, he wants the information from the Americans for. He knows everything.
But this is where I'm jumping very quickly, Khemraj. On that very note, the corruption we're seeing in the Guyana police force, I mean, it's in the government as well. In 3-4 short years, we see policemen owning some huge buildings and government officials, some massive homes to rival the Ambanis there in India. I mean, it's so plain. It's so plain. And then the number of sanctions we're seeing, I mean, unprecedented for any government in this country, unprecedented amount of sanctions. Lots of businessmen too, we're learning, have gotten their visas revoked because of their close association activities with members of this administration. Khemraj.
Yeah, well, look, when policemen who are supposed to protect and serve see that their big bosses are the corrupt ones and they're getting away with it, what do you want them to do? They will act as if they know now that impunity will apply. They will be totally with immunity. No, nobody can tell them anything because they can hold what they know a certain minister was doing against that minister. And so the whole place becomes corrupt. And that is why whenever you see the head is corrupt, every other part starts getting corrupt. And that is what has happened at the police force. We had put up so many recommendations from the British security sector reform, for the Citizen Strengthening Security Program, CSSP, and so on. I understand all of those programs have been shelved. All have been shelved, literally. And so the police do what the hell they want. And none of the rogue elements are being knocked off or charged. No, they're accumulating more monies and they ain't got place in the bank for them. They put it in the office and they put it in the house and they put it under the mattress and all of that. What a shame and disgrace today. And when you had a situation too, where the opposition in 2015 to 2020 had an opportunity in the Public Security Sector Parliamentary Committee to ask all these questions. And I would normally, when I was minister, bring the policemen. Hey, answer the question that Mr. Ben and Harry Gill and a couple of others in the opposition. You have to bring them to let them answer because these people are making allegations. Now, that Public Security Committee of Parliament has been shut down. I can't ask policemen any question as to their corruption and so on, and they're hiding it from the public. That is also another reason, not only the shelving of all these reports and recommendations, but there is no scrutiny by the opposition parliamentarians as to what's happening in the police force, the fire service, and the prison service. So they shut it down. And this is what they call democracy. It's a shame and disgrace. And that is why we're going to get what we are seeing happening, a corruption that is, again, to the highest of levels.
Yeah, there's so much happening, Khemraj, so much to talk about. Come back soon and let's talk some more about these issues. I know Guyanese love seeing you, love hearing from you. And you're welcome here in the ring anytime. I know you still got the stamina for a full 12 round. We know it.
Yes. All right, thanks for easing me up. Because I don't think I did the 12 rungs. I'm going to do the 12 rungs another time. Take care.
Region 4, the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting its annual general meeting for the period 2021 to 2022 on Sunday, the 25th of August, 2024 for members of Region Number 4. The meeting will be convened at the Critchlow Labor College, Wolford Avenue at 10 hours. Members are encouraged to pre-register at bit.ly/GPSCCU AGM 2024 for further instructions on how to take part in the meeting and to vote for a committee of management. The meeting will take place both online and in person at various locations across the country. Full participation of members is encouraged. Let us move your credit union forward. The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. People helping people.
Yep. And that being said, I think that's your final bell. Thanks for joining us this evening, staying here with us a little bit overnight. A stone throw overnight. A privilege being here with each and every one of you. Thanks, Khemraj, for coming by, for dropping by. Gail Alicock, we see you there. Bernadette James, I see you. Glenford Gordon, Rosetta, I see Gail Alicock, Sandra Hanover, Gail, I call you twice, girl. John Jones is here, to Jamal Aziz. Good to see you too on the live. And Linden Gill and all the other beautiful folks who are here with us this evening. That's our time for tonight, and that's our program. Thank you guys so much. Dolly Anderson, good to see you. Glenford Gordon, Tessa here with Enid Elliot, good to have you. Wilton Blue, did I call Enid right? Good, I call you right. Kevin Joe and Roy in the comment. Rena, when you're coming in from the coal, good to have you there too. Rena, Everett Small, John, Balram, and all the other folks who are on with us. Thanks for dropping by, John. Thanks for your comments too. Keep coming by, keep coming by. That's our time, and that's our brother.